Okay, so where do I start? Hi, everybody. I know that it has been some time and I have been sick all weekend and I am home from work today, still not fully recovered, but getting there. And I feel like there's a lot that I want to talk about and go through. This is going to be very non-scripted. I'm going to talk about a little bit about where I've been, what's been on my mind, things I've learned already since the new year. Like, I can't believe we're almost in the middle of February already. I don't know where the time has gone. There were a lot of ideas I had that I wanted to film for the new year, but I don't know, life just like got in the way. And I've had people ask where I've been, which is crazy. So I didn't really think it was a big deal or that people even noticed, but clearly you did. So I'm very sorry about that. But I have a lot of things that I do want to talk about. First, I do want to briefly just tell you all where I've been and I think what my plan is moving forward. So obviously I'm still working full time. I did start my master's of education. It's an online program, so I've been pretty focused on that. Usually in my free time, that's what I'm working on. And I've gotten really back into running. So I kind of took a little bit of a break in the fall because the weather was getting colder outside and we didn't own a treadmill. And then my husband got me a treadmill for Christmas and that changed my life. So if you don't know, I'm from Toronto, so our winters are absolutely brutal and I'm not running outside when it's minus 30 wind chill. So having a treadmill has changed everything for me. I've been really back into running since December, so I've been really focused on that. There's just been, I think, other things I've been trying to sort out, but the main focus of today's topic of conversation that I've had in my mind is I thought deleting my social media accounts was enough. Like deleting Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. What else did I have? I didn't really have TikTok. I used to have TikTok, but then I got rid of that. I had Facebook like years ago. But basically, I thought that it was enough to get rid of those apps. It was not. Me saying in my past videos that YouTube and Pinterest are not the same, that is not true. They are exactly the same. If not, maybe even more addictive. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And I just want you, if you could try, not even for a week, for like 3 days, to just not watch any content at all. No YouTube, no Pinterest, literally nothing. Like, you can even go so far as like not watching any TV shows, literally no content. Like, if you could just do no content for like 72 hours and watch how your life changes, because that's what I did and it was honestly life-changing. I really didn't think that there was a problem with YouTube and Pinterest and all that until I realized that both of those apps or both of those websites actually possibly could be worse than the other social media apps that I got rid of. Hence, another reason why I haven't been posting on YouTube is because I haven't been on YouTube. And I'm like, how can I be posting on YouTube if I'm like not on YouTube? You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out like that balance and that boundary of like, how could I do both if I wanted to? But I really needed time to just step away from everything. And it has been so incredibly eye-opening. Like, I didn't realize how also toxic that those two could be. And like, I know that people could say, oh, boundaries, like, you know, there's limits and stuff. And I totally agree. However, for example, I was saying this to my therapist, I feel like when I'm on Pinterest, it's another reason for me to not be present in my own life. Like, Pinterest for me was made for me to daydream about my future fantasy self, which is another way of me not being present in real life. Same thing with YouTube. Okay, YouTube, you don't know the people that you're watching, but you're still watching people for inspiration and for, you know, content that could potentially help you become the person that you want to be in your life. And you're just never present. And I think my goal and one of my words for this year is to be present. I want to be present in my life. I don't want to be in the future or in the past. I feel like so many years before this, being in therapy, I worked so hard at not being stuck in the past. And I think a lot of people work on that, where they go to therapy because they're stuck in the past. They're stuck with things that happened to them or things that they did or trauma that they have to get through. So they're stuck in the past. But we don't really realize how stuck we are in the future as well. And I worked so hard at not being stuck in the past that I was constantly stuck in the future. And it's like, I don't want to be stuck in the past or stuck in the future. I want to be in the present. And Pinterest and YouTube were not allowing me to be present. I feel anything that you are watching online, depending on what it is, you are not present in your own life. So for example, if you are watching things on YouTube that are going to actually help you grow, so like you're watching somebody make a recipe, or you're watching a video that might help you fix something or learn something or do something, or whatever the case is, then I think that that's different. I think you know the difference between content that is actually helping you versus hurting you. But for example, like, I love watching lifestyle creators. I loved watching lifestyle vlogs and like that kind of stuff. When I took this break, at first I was like, okay, well, like, what do I do now? Like, literally, what do I do now? And it's so frightening to me how I already thought that I had free time before, when I deleted all those other apps. And then I took a break from YouTube and Pinterest, and I was like, whoa, I have even more free time than I ever thought that I would have. And that's frightening, because I don't think we realize how much time we actually have in a day, and how long a day actually is, and how long an hour is. And that's because we're constantly filling it with noise. When I kind of came back from taking this break, which honestly was probably this weekend, because I was so sick. I had like such a bad flu. I'm still dealing with it. I find it so much easier to cave into these dopamine habits, because like, you're literally just lying there, you feel awful, and you're like, okay, well, what else am I gonna do? You don't have the energy to do anything other than like get those quick dopamine fixes. But I found that about halfway through the day, I was like bored. I was like, okay, like, what do I do now? Like, I've run out of things to watch. Like, nothing is interesting to me. And the craziest thing is that I tried to watch YouTube videos that were posted from past creators that I would like have the bell on, that if they posted, I would watch. And I could not get through more than a couple minutes of the video, because I'm like, I felt like secondhand embarrassment. I'm like, why am I watching this random girl just just live her life? Isn't that weird? Why am I just watching her study or plan her day or like be productive or like do her hair and her makeup? Like, that's a little bit weird. And I felt weird watching. Like, I don't know if I made it weird, but I was like, why am I spending so much time watching other people live their life? And I'm sitting here watching them live their life, but I'm not living mine. Like, I don't know, it was such a weird feeling that I just stopped. And I was like, I don't even want to watch this anymore. Like, no hate towards these people that I was watching before, but I don't want to sit here and watch it anymore. I would rather just live my life and focus on doing my hair and my makeup and focus on what's important to me. And it was weird. And I feel like I kind of like cracked this like seal finally of like getting over that hump of not watching this content anymore. And I know that there's a difference, because when I watch content from people where I'm learning something, or they have a point to make, or it's like a self-help video, I find like I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to like be this person. I'm not trying to change myself. They don't make me want to go out and spend money. Like, you know that there's a difference, okay? And all I'm asking is for you, if you are struggling with this idea of like not trying to just figure out why your head is so noisy, just stop watching content. Just stop. Turn everything off. I've gotten into the habit of turning off my laptop when I get home from work because I find like that's when I'm like the most easiest for me to get on and to waste time. Like just turn it off. And you can't just turn it off and then walk away. You need to replace it with something. And I think I've talked about this in the past, but I've replaced it with either reading or picking up my Switch and playing Animal Crossing, because for me, like I would rather be doing that than like watching somebody live their life. I don't know. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but these are just my thoughts. Another confession is when January hit, the first week of January, I thought that I, all of a sudden, was ready to go back on social media. And I talked to my husband about this. I talked to my best friend about this. I talked to my therapist about it. I was like, yeah, like I'm ready. I feel good about it, whatever, da-da-da. I just want to let you know that I did go through and make an Instagram account and I deleted it within 20 minutes. I didn't even follow anybody yet. Like just the sole fact that I made an account and went on the account and the anxiety that bubbled up for me, I was like, oh my gosh, no, like I'm not meant to be on here. And I deleted it right away. And that was enough confirmation for me that like it's something that I will probably never ever go back to. But I had to try it because I had to see how I felt. Yeah, it's just not working. So these are thoughts I have about that. If you could just take a break. I also kind of treat my phone like a landline a lot of the times. And I was saying this to a friend of mine that I saw like recently. A friend was like really struggling with like their phone usage and like all this stuff. And I was telling them like, listen, something that really works for me is I make my phone I turn it into a landline. So when I get home from work, my phone has a home. So that my phone's home is plugged in to the charger, sitting on my desk. And I basically have everything on Do Not Disturb except if my favorites call me, and my favorites are like family members and my husband, and it will ring. And that is good enough for me because anything that I get between after work until the next morning is not important unless it's like a phone call, which usually my mom will call me to talk to me and my husband is usually home. So there's really no reason why I need to be on my phone. Turning it into a landline has changed everything. It doesn't follow me around. It stays in its home. And I also encourage you to try that too and just kind of give yourself not these rules and boundaries, but just kind of begin that separation. And at the beginning, you're going to have separation anxiety, especially if you use your phone for everything. I have really turned my phone into a dumb phone. Like there is literally nothing for me to look at on my phone. I don't have anything that if I am out of my house or I'm bored or whatever, I have nothing on my phone to look at except like my camera roll. Sometimes you can catch me scrolling in settings if I'm really that. I have nothing to look at, and I made it that way because I don't want to be tempted at all when I'm out or I'm with family or friends that I am going to be tempted at all to go on my phone because I really, really want to learn how to be present. And some of these things have really helped for me. I'm continuing to do them, and I'm not going to say that every day is perfect because it's not. There are some days that are harder than others. For example, this weekend was a struggle. Like I was on the internet a lot, and that was because I wasn't feeling well. I mean, I still read, I finished an entire book, I still played Animal Crossing, but it was still a lot harder for me because I wasn't feeling well. Those are thoughts on that. I think the last thing I want to talk about is my New Year's resolutions. And I was actually going to make a whole video about this, but I'm just going to throw it in here because I am just going to make this an update and thoughts. But I realized that I did not want to have resolutions and goals this year. And as a very type A goals and resolutions and boundaries and rules and restrictions and routines kind of girl, that is a pretty big deal. And I think there were a few reasons why I did not want to do that. The first reason is because I think I needed time to breathe and just see where things took me. I don't want to be confined all the time, and I really felt in 2025 it was a year of challenges. Like I was constantly challenging myself, whether it was physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like there was always some sort of challenge going on and always some sort of goal that I had to reach. I could never just live. Like I could never just live day to day. Like there was always a challenge, and it was challenges that I created for myself. It was goals that I created for myself. Like nobody else did it for me. Like I did it for me. And I remember telling my therapist at the beginning of this year, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I also want to see naturally what my body does and what it wants to do and what my mind does and what my mind wants to do. Like I put in a lot of hard work in 2025 of, you know, especially tech boundaries and deleting my social media. That was the year I got into running. Like there were so many new things that took place for me that I'm very grateful for. And if it weren't for me challenging myself, I don't think any of that would have happened. Like again, deleting social media for a year, that was me challenging myself. Running a 10K, that was me challenging myself, and I had to work on that every single day. Cooking new recipes, that was me challenging myself. No phone at this time, no computer at this time, you know, all these boundaries and challenges, and I was just done. I didn't want to do it anymore, and I felt like I had done enough that like I wouldn't do these things anyway. But I also didn't want to beat myself up if one day, one odd night, I wanted to watch Netflix in bed. Like that is not a crime. And because I had all these boundaries and challenges and rules, I beat myself up about it all the time if I broke one of them or if I decided to do something different, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. And honestly, it's been so freeing. If you have not tried just not having any resolutions and boundaries and goals and challenges, I recommend that you do. Obviously, if you feel like you can. I think there were many years in my life where I needed to do these things, and my therapist made that very clear. Like she was like, you needed boundaries and resolutions and goals and challenges to get back on the right track when I wasn't in the best place, which was years ago. She goes, but you have come so far and you have grown so much that I think you're good. Like you don't have to do that anymore. Like you know what feels good. You are mature enough and responsible enough. And I'm like, you are so right. And that has also been very, very wonderful. And it feels good to know that like, okay, I'm putting my phone away at this certain time. I'm turning it into a landline because I want to, not because I challenged myself. Oh, for the month of February, I'm gonna do it. Like, no more challenges, no more goals, just what feels right for me. And let me tell you, nothing came crashing down. I still run 3 times a week. I still have my good morning routines and my night routines. I still read my Bible every day. I still, you know, have my boundaries with my phone and technology. And if anything, I've made more conclusions about that. And nothing has crumbled and just gone up in flames, which I kind of thought was going to happen. And that's what I was scared of, but it didn't happen because I had trust in myself. I had faith in myself, which I encourage you to have too. Like, have faith in yourself because you probably have more than you think you do. But anyway, I feel like I've rambled on for too long. These are my thoughts so far, a month and a half into 2026 already. Moving forward, I would like to post more videos. I also think I took a break because I kind of wanted to rebrand. I don't know if like the routine videos are for me because now I've kind of changed my thought process on them. And if people are going to be watching me, I want you to learn something. I want you to like finish my video and then reflect on stuff that I've said and maybe apply it to your own life. Like, I don't think my channel is going to be you watching my night routine or my morning routine unless there's like some sort of beneficial learning opportunity for you. I just don't feel like that's why I meant to be making videos. I feel like I have a lot more to share. But if there's anything that you want to pick my brain about, let me know. Hoping to post some more. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry for all the ups and downs and, you know, privating some of my videos. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to be talking about and what I want to be sharing on here and what's like really important to me. And I think that you guys get that, but I appreciate you for being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you soon.